All right, let's talk about something pretty much all of us have felt. That weird, anxious feeling that can creep in after you've been scrolling through your social media feed. Today, we're going to dig into why that happens. Spoiler, it's by design. And then we'll explore a totally different way of thinking about social networks that might just be the answer we're all looking for.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Have you ever closed an app after, 20 or 30 minutes of just mindlessly scrolling, only to feel kind of drained? Maybe a little empty, or even like you're not quite measuring up? Yeah, if you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. And that exact feeling is what we're unpacking today.
And here is the most important thing I want you to take away right from the get-go. That feeling, it is not your fault. It's not some personal failing or a lack of willpower. No, it is a direct, calculated result of how these platforms are engineered to work. So first, let's pull back the curtain and really look at the source of all this anxiety, what we call mainstream social networks, or MNS. You know the ones. They're the giants we use every single day, and they're built on this fundamental conflict between their stated goal of connecting people and their real goal, which is capturing our attention.
Think about platforms like Instagram or TikTok. They operate on this absolutely massive scale, and they're run by algorithms that have one job and one job only: keep your eyeballs glued to the screen for as long as possible. Because of this, they've really stopped being tools for social connection and have become what the source material calls attention brokerages. Their real business isn't connecting you. It's selling your focus to the highest bidder. To really see how this all plays out in a person's life, let's look at a quick case study. I want you to meet Sarah. She's a 24-year-old student, a heavy user of these mainstream networks, and her experience is a perfect illustration of the psychological price we pay for this design.
For Sarah, this whole experience is driven by three specific stressors. First up, you've got toxic social comparison. She is just constantly bombarded with the perfectly polished highlight reels of everyone else's lives. Then there's algorithmic manipulation, where the platform intentionally pushes super emotionally charged, sometimes outrageous content into her feed just to keep her hooked. And finally, there's the validation pressure, where her own self-worth starts to get tangled up in the number of likes, shares, and followers she has.
And this right here is a perfect window into her internal experience. Sarah is caught in what psychologists call an upward comparison bias. Her real, normal, messy life just feels like a total failure when it's sitting next to the manufactured perfection she sees online. And that right there is a direct highway to anxiety and low self-esteem. So here's the bottom line. The MNS world pushes Sarah into this passive state of just consuming. It's competitive, it's incredibly stressful, and it makes her mental well-being really fragile because it's totally dependent on what other people think. And again, this isn't some accident. It's not a bug in the system. It's a feature of the business model. But what if there was a completely different way?
So, what's the alternative to this whole anxiety machine? Well, it's a model that's built not on getting as big as possible, but on creating real, genuine connection. And this slide right here shows you the night and day difference. Mainstream networks are built for one thing: attention monetization, making money off your time. But this other model, what we call micro networks, is built for something completely different: intentional connection. This isn't just a small change, it's a total flip of the entire purpose. And to really wrap our heads around this alternative, let's meet someone else. This is Tom. He's a 27-year-old software developer, and his experience online is a really powerful contrast to Sarah's story.
See, Tom uses what's called a microsocial network, or MSN. These are way smaller, much more focused online communities. Think of a dedicated forum for people who are into analog photography, or a group for urban gardeners. The goal here isn't endless, massive growth. It's about creating a really high-quality space for a shared passion.
So how in the world do these microsocial networks actually protect your mental health? Well, it really comes down to four key principles. They have a niche focus, which reinforces a positive part of Tom's identity. This lets him build genuine social capital, real relationships. He has user control, so he's free from those manipulative algorithms. And finally, they act as genuine safe spaces, with clear community rules and actual moderation.
And a pioneering example of this whole philosophy in action is the Web4.community model. It's basically a framework that gives users the tools to build their own microsocial networks from scratch. It puts them back in control of their data, their feed, and the actual rules of their own community. It's an architectural solution to the massive problems we see in mainstream networks.
Tom's experience really says it all. In his community, which is built on this Web4.community model, the focus isn't on performing for likes or going viral. It's just about sharing a genuine passion. It rewards his love for the subject, not his ability to grab attention.
And the result is a complete 180 from Sarah's outcome. For Tom, his online community is an active, supportive space. It doesn't drain his mental energy, it actually boosts his well-being by giving him a sense of competence and, most importantly, true belonging.
Okay, so this brings us to our final and maybe most important takeaway. It's time we start thinking about our online activity in a new way. Not just as time we've spent, but as an actual investment in our own mental well-being.
Let's introduce a new concept here, Mental Health ROI, or return on investment. For every hour you spend online, you have to ask yourself, is it giving you a positive return? Is it giving you connection and learning and joy? Or is it costing you? Is the price anxiety and comparison and stress?
When you look at it through that lens, it is crystal clear that microsocial networks deliver a vastly superior mental health ROI. And it all comes down to three things. Their small scale naturally limits toxic viral content. Their intentionality means people are all there for the same shared purpose. And the control they give users frees them from those manipulative algorithms. This is the bedrock that platforms built on the Web4.community model stand on. And so, that's the question we want to leave you with. Take a second and look at the apps on your phone. Think about where you spend your time online. Are they a good investment for your mind? Because the future of social networking isn't about who can get the biggest, it's about who can be fundamentally better for us as human beings. That's all for this one.